Local history. Local culture. Local events. Your community. This is the Joe Kelly Show.
Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. We are at 1608 Genesee Street, home of the Oneida County History Center, and we're in the reference library right now. Our show today includes Rebecca McLain. She's executive director here, and Patrick Reynolds. We're going to be talking about a variety of things, including the upcoming telethon on May 15th. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with Rebecca. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. We are joined by the aforementioned Rebecca McLain. Rebecca is the executive director here at 1608 Genesee Street, and we're going to be talking about the telethon, among other things. But the telethon's coming right up, Rebecca.
Just a couple weeks away.
Yeah, and give people a lowdown on how it's all going to work. We're going to go on the air on May 15th.
Correct.
At 5 o'clock?
So it's Wednesday, May 15th. The event is from 5 to 8 p.m. and it's live the entire time, which is exciting for us. You, of course, are one of our hosts, along with myself. And then new this year, we have Morgan Milanecki from the Sentinel Media Company. She'll be hosting the Starboard. But basically, during that time period, we bring in our community supporters, other interesting people who like local history, to highlight the importance of local history and encourage people to donate. One of the people that I look forward every year to having on is Frank Domeno. Frank comes on and talks about local history and asks his followers, which are many, to support the History Center. Absolutely. So I know we're going to kick off the show, or the event rather, with a check presentation from our presenting sponsor, Bank of Utica, which will be fantastic. And County Executive Pacente will be here to welcome everybody as well. And then we've Monk Rowe is going to play us some music right in the beginning, which we're excited about. Yeah. And then the rest of the evening, as you mentioned, Frank Domeno will appear a couple times. I know we have members of the Utica Fire Department and other whole host of
Rob Mayshall,
of course. Yeah. So we're still finalizing a couple of the guests, but it should be a evening full of entertainment, and we'll also have artifacts, and we'll talk about the services and that we offer in our history. The way that this goes about, it makes it pretty easy for people who want to support the Oneida County History Center. Yes. So we put our phone number up on the screen many times, which is 315-735-3642. You got to remember that. I got it. And they can call in, and they will get one of our celebrity phone bank operators or volunteers. So I think we have about 15 people volunteering for the phones that night. But we encourage anyone calling in, they can join. They can get a membership if they don't have one. It's a great time to renew your membership if you're already a History Center member, or simply make a donation. And all of that goes back to us and supports a lot of great things that we do. And this event is a signature event for the History Center. And this is the 19th annual, so we've been doing it for almost 2 decades, which is a little crazy, but it's great. And it's the event, though, that if it's not successful, has a big impact on this institution. Yes. It has a huge impact. So we are mostly funded by private sources. We're a nonprofit institution. We don't get annual government funding. That's not to say we don't get grants, but we're not part of the city budget or the county budget. And so this money makes sure that we can be open, that we can pay our staff, that we can pay for the lights, that we can be here and put on, it supports new exhibits, it supports our programming series, so we have lectures, musical performances, all suggested donation. I think we have about 30 to 40 of those a year. We'll be having 3 interns this summer, so it supports staff to spend time with them as well.
And you suggested that May 15th is a great opportunity for people who are thinking about becoming a member or who want to renew their membership. Great time to do that. And the memberships, I think some people would be surprised. The memberships aren't very expensive.
Oh yeah, it's very reasonable. So for an individual, it's $40 a year. And I don't think we've raised prices maybe in a decade.
I don't remember.
I have been involved here at the History Center for 8 years. I started as a volunteer and then was their community outreach coordinator for a number of years before filling this role. So I can say we haven't raised prices, but we've tried to increase services. So it's just $40 for an individual, $70 for a family. So, that's anyone living in the same household. So parents, kids, and, kids under 18. And then we have a corporate membership as well. And that's just $150. So really, really reasonable compared, I guess, to many other institutions. And of course, it supports us, but there are benefits associated with your membership as well. So if you're a researcher, you get access to our research libraries, free access. Otherwise, we ask for a use fee or a donation if you're not a member. But we have a ton of stuff down here. We do a newsletter 6 times a year. And yeah, discounted
and
at a bookstore more.
And it's very appropriate that we're sitting in front of these city directories because city directories are one of the greatest research tools that somebody could have because of all the information in that annual book. And the Oneida County History Center has a complete collection.
Yes, so we have from 1817 all the way through 2000, which I don't want to point down there. But yeah, so I think they could be available online after that. But there's the only years we're missing are years that weren't published. And yeah, they do have a lot of great information if you are, starting genealogy or if you just want to know the history of your home. So yeah, we have Utica from 1817 to 2000, and then we have a smattering of Rome, and we also have some county directories. And in the Utica directories, there are some of the surrounding towns. So New York Mills, New Hartford, sometimes they'll be listed there as well in the earlier years.
And then across the room from us, we've got a great library that it's open to researchers. And that is named after, was he Colonel? I think he was a colonel.
Colonel Thayer Gilbert Best.
Yeah, and it's named in his honor. And there are books in that research library that you'll find nowhere else.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the rest of our library contains a mixture. Yeah, there are books, a ton of primary source material, so original documents. Much of our materials date from the 1800s and 1900s. We do have some earlier stuff as well.
And then behind that library, there is an archive room, which is filled with.
Exactly.
You tell us what it's filled with.
Anything and everything.
Yeah.
We have at least 250,000 paper documents, and so I know we have 75 plus rolled maps, and everything relates to Oneida County history. So it could be Utica, it could be Boonville, it could be a map of the entire county. So we have rolled maps, we have original census books. We do have some marriage ledgers, so not the original paperwork, but the original kind of bookkeeping from the city of Utica from the early 1900s. We have land title papers. There's boxes and boxes on the railroads. There's 30 plus boxes of materials from and on the Proctor family. So Thomas, Frederick, Mariah, Rachel, and yeah, plus the parents as well.
In fact, when we talk to Patrick Reynolds a little bit later in the show, he's going to talk to us a little bit about a couple new puzzles he's putting together, and the Proctors are involved with that. One of those puzzles, are they not?
Yes. So one of them is, he'll hopefully show you a picture too. It's an image from Bag, if I can get it correct.
Yeah.
Baggs Farm Hotel.
Right.
So there was the Baggs Hotel in downtown Utica. which is no longer standing, but they had a farm which produced food, right? So both meat and I think dairy products and other fruits and vegetables, probably not fruits, but vegetables, not just for Bags Hotel, but a couple other hotels in the area that Thomas Proctor ran.
Mm-hmm. The Proctor family, very prominent for a variety of reasons through Oneida County, particularly in Utica, all the things they gave to Utica that today
So many things, and not just here.
Yeah.
The parks, they were early leaders in our organization as well. Our first original home was the Munson Williams Memorial Building, which also no longer stands, but that was partially from their family as well.
Mm-hmm. Back to the telethon, May 15th, starting at 5 and going till 8. We are interrupted, are we not, for the news?
We are interrupted for the news, but we will, so when the local news is being broadcast, we'll pop in and out. We'll still be there. The phones will still be ringing, hopefully, and waiting for callers. And then during national news, we will be on live stream. So people can watch it on WTR, and we're hoping to get the listing of channels that we'll share on social media and our website so people will know exactly what channel to tune into. But you can do that from 5 to 6 and then 7 to 8. But the whole time you can always watch it on cnyhomepage.com.
And I know there's some people I've talked to just recently who don't live in the area, used to live in the area. They don't anymore, but they're looking forward to tuning in on their computer.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't have to live here to be a member. So, I mean, you get the newsletter wherever you live. We've been producing a lot more content for our YouTube channel. So if the program lends itself, we have been recording our public programs and making that available. Patrick and also one of our volunteers, Dennis Dewey, he's been producing some original content as well. So I think there's probably 50 different videos you could watch on our YouTube channel.
And it takes just a second, really. I tried to time it a little bit last year, but it depends on whether our volunteer operator gets talking to the person that calls in. But it's a very quick opportunity.
It would take you 1 to 2 minutes. And we have plenty of volunteers. So and the phone will hopefully keep ringing. So don't give up if you can't get through the first time. But they'll put you in the queue and you'll be answered.
And
next.
so all they need is really
just take a couple minutes.
A credit card.
Yep, absolutely. And that's what 2 people you can pledge. So you don't, if you're not comfortable providing your credit card over the phone. You can just, say that you're going to donate and then send us a check or go online and make a donation right there as well.
Okay, I'll see you, if not sooner, I'll see you on May 15th.
Yes, Wednesday, May 15th.
At 5 o'clock, and we'll have some fun, I think.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thanks,
That's
Joe.
going to do it for us with Rebecca, but we'll be back with Patrick, and we're going to talk about those puzzles. And he's also going to talk a little bit about Baron von Steuben. And the monument that's up there. Short break, right back. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. We're joined by Patrick Reynolds. Patrick wears a lot of hats down there, researching and putting together exhibits and answering the phone and outreach and
other duties as required.
There you go.
Thank you for having us, Joe.
Oh, you're welcome.
And thank you, just to take, not to go off script, but as I do research here, I frequently come across books or articles that you wrote over the years, and you have done a tremendous job forever keeping history alive and keeping it on top of mind for people. So thank you.
Yeah, well, that's nice of you to mention that. One of the things that you were just up at, because it was National Historic Marker Day, if I got that correct.
I cleaned a marker,
yeah. And you guys, when I wrote, in fact, I wrote a column for the Sentinel about that, some of the markers we have around. The Reverend Glenn Kessler, he's passed on now, but back, oh God, I'm trying to think what year it was. I put it in the column. He wrote a book where he went all over Oneida County. I'm sure it's here somewhere.
Yep.
He went all over Oneida County documenting those historic markers and what history there is in those historic markers. You know, Patrick, there's two kinds of people in the world. One who drives by historic markers and those who stop and read the historic markers. But anyway, Reverend Kessler did a great job with that. And you were up at Steuben's.
Yeah, in honor of National Historic Marker Day. Like, so a lot of those markers you were talking about that were put up by the state in the 20s and 30s.
Right.
The Pomeroy Foundation is a foundation that still funds them today and aggressively, you know, has different programs about foodways and things like this. But they also have National Historic Marker Day where they encourage people to go clean and maintain the markers. So we went up to Baron Steuben's house up on Star Hill. Have you been up on the hill?
I have. Yeah, not for a while, but I've been up there several times.
It's one of the best views in the whole, you know, you can see Utica to Sylvan Beach from up there.
Yeah.
And that's where Baron Steuben, and we have a drawing of his estate and manor, and this doesn't get out in the public very often, but this is a rare document that, since we're down in the archives, I thought I'd bring it out to show you. It was drawn in 1793 by a Frenchman for Baron Steuben, and it was a plan to show the sawmills and a schoolhouse, and it has an esplanade that you can go walk in the woods and all kinds of things. But we had this drawing, we really didn't know what it came from, and it turns out it was drawn by a Frenchman named Pierre Ferrou, and he was here on the behalf of what was called the Casterland Company, and it was, the French aristocracy was trying to get out of France. And they were up on the Black River surveying and planning cities, and they got sick. And they went to Baron Steuben's in the fall of 1794, and they had beaver fever, you know, they're terribly sick. And in talking to Baron Steuben, this Frenchman came up with this plan for his estate, and this is the drawing that he drew as he recovered up at the Baron's little cabin.
And that's where the Baron is buried.
Yeah, so the Baron had another house in New York City, but he spent mostly his winters up there in Steuben. Or excuse me, spent his summers there when it was a little warmer. And when he died actually about 2 months after this drawing was done. So then none of this was ever built. It was just a plan. But he asked to be buried just in his coat, and they did. But years later, they put in a road alongside there on French Road, and that's when they dug him up, reburied him, and eventually a series of stones were put there. So that's where the markers we went to were. There's about 5 or 6 with different things about his house, or you know, the other people that were up there on Star Hill.
If you Google that Pomeroy Foundation, there's actually instructions on how to clean these monuments, is there not?
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty sturdy. You know, some of them in the city get city dirt on them, or pollen and things like that. It's as much as an idea to keep top of mind and people being aware of them and not like having them disappear or things like that. We've done other ones in Bagg Square, and then last year we did some in Clinton. It's a fun group. Go out for the afternoon and in this case go up to Baron Steuben's, which not a lot of people get there because it's kind of a little off the beaten path, so we're happy to get up there.
And behind that, you've got another...
Sure, just let me take this down.
And what that is, you were telling me before the show, this is going to be another puzzle in the collection of puzzles that the History Center puts out, yes?
Yeah, so the History Center has local history puzzles. We started with postcards of, you know, important historic buildings. But over time, I've got involved with them, and this drawing is actually, the source for it comes from an auction catalog for this farm. This is Mr. Proctor's farm, which was Bagg's Hotel Farm in Utica, and I had an intern from Pratt School hand color this. So we pumped that out, and and hopefully it'll be a good puzzle for people to do, because they got very popular during the pandemic as something
Yeah.
to do in your free
When will
time.
the puzzle be out?
It's a long order. It's a couple weeks. I'm not sure when they're going to be here.
They're not here now.
They're not here now. It'll be a couple weeks. So yeah. And
Okay.
So I got another one behind here.
Before we go to the
Yeah.
other one, I like the directions about how to get there. Mm-hmm. To reach Baggs Hotel Farm, take South Street trolley at New York Central Depot. Do you know exactly where that farm was, Patrick?
It's where Proctor Park is on
Bush Road?
Bush Road, right by the creek, which sometimes is buried at this point. But it shows up on the county atlases with the outbuildings. He had quite pigs and horses and all kinds of things. He growing food for the hotel mostly, but it wasn't just the Baggs Hotel. He was doing the Butterfield. He was selling their meat and cheese, and they did ice cream for a little while. Too.
And behind that, you've got another one.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
look familiar to you, Joe?
it does.
We'll get it up there.
Yep. This is another puzzle, and this is on the, there's other beers besides FX Matt and West End Brewery, isn't there?
So
Fort
last
Schuyler.
summer we had a bicycle tour with a historian named Bob Albrecht, and we toured the locations of various breweries that were in Utica over the years. Eagle Brewery and
Fort Schuyler.
Fort Schuyler Brewery is all Dictator beer. So Eagle beer was one of the older ones that, in some cases a lot of the buildings are gone. But got together with Fred Capizzola, who's a private collector, brought some of his collectibles, combined with ours, and put together a little collage of Utica brews.
And so this is going to be turned into a puzzle as well.
Puzzle as well.
Nice. Yeah. This is going to be. I'll make a guess here that one of the most popular puzzles in the collection is the puzzle of Kewpies.
Kewpies is the long-term leader, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so those other previous puzzles are still for sale?
Yep. We reorder. We put in an order for the farmers market this summer, which we'll have them, and they're available online. This will be. It's not here yet, so another couple of weeks before they show up. But and we do some fun stuff with pretzels just to make it harder.
Yeah.
Some bottle caps and things like that. Of course, got to have Schultz and Dooley.
Nice. The puzzles have caught on over the years, have they, Patrick?
Yeah, as I was mentioning, especially during the pandemic when everybody was stuck at home,
Yeah.
staring at each other, not knowing what to do, the puzzles took on a life of their own. So we continued with them, and they do well for us.
And as long as we're talking about things for sale, the best history book collection in the area is for sale right here. You've got a library upstairs that all kinds of history books for sale.
You know, local history books and bookstores in general are getting harder and harder to find, and ours does very well for us with both, out-of-print books that we sell, but also, current books. We just redid a book by one of our volunteers, Joan, on Utica streets.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to go into another printing because they're going so well. So.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I wrote a column about that in her Utica Streets book. I wrote a column about it when the first one came out. Now this one has been revised a little bit and updated a little bit.
Yeah, we're always learning more. I mean, the city directories, what you're in front of, tell you all the streets, but how they got their names is often a hidden thing that you as you know, you find it when you're looking for something else. You find, oh, that's why Weaver Street is called Weaver Street, or whatever. But it's been very popular and a lot of interest, so it's fun to see it go out the door.
The projects that you're working on now upstairs, I'm trying to think what you got up there. You've got the Utica Saturday Globe exhibit, which is still up. Saturday
Globe exhibit is out. I'm just finalizing. I did a talk here, but I'm editing it down to put it on our YouTube channel, which is, over time our YouTube channel gets a lot of traction. So, and it's a permanent way to, save the story on YouTube, if you will. We're also working on an agricultural exhibit in addition to Baggs Hotel Farm, but the cheese industry and the potatoes that were invented here in Utica, which is a whole other story.
Yeah, and I know you're very familiar with this. Another part of the big agricultural scene in Oneida County is what happened with cheese making. and the guy that invented a new way of processing cheese.
Yep, he's going to be included in our exhibit. Jesse Williams, who started the first cheese factory in America, just north of Rome, near Delta Dam is where it was. And his idea was to consolidate the milk from various farms and make cheese.
And one of the things that I took great interest in was John Kraft came here to pay homage, so to speak.
Yeah, they had a celebration. Jesse Williams had passed away, but they had a celebration in Rome, in a big pageant at the football stadium, and John Kraft from Kraft Cheese spoke, and he really said, if it wasn't for people like Jesse, who revolutionized the dairy industry, the leading industry of New York for many, many years, if it wasn't for people like Jesse, they wouldn't be where they were. So it was a fitting tribute. There's a marker that was put up at the fish hatchery today.
Yeah.
That's where the fish hatchery was, and John Kraft was there when they kind of christened the stone and gave it to him.
Always good seeing you.
Very good. Thank you, Joe.
And we'll see you, I hope, on May 5th, and we'll start it off at May 15th. And we'll start it off at 5 o'clock, and we'll go till 8 o'clock. It's a big night for the Oneida County History Center, a big night for the area. Hope to see you then. Until then, take care of yourself, everybody.